Hello and welcome into today's video, where we're going to be discussing the Chaikin Money Flow indicator in technical analysis, or otherwise known as the CMF. So let's start with the basics. Chaikin Money Flow is a technical indicator that measures the money that's flowing in and out of a stock or a security. The indicator ranges between +1 and -1. What we're going to do is talk about how to read and interpret this range and how to trade using it. So first things first, let's talk about how we calculate the Chaikin Money Flow. This is going to get slightly technical, so if this is a segment that you want to skip, the timestamps will be in the description below. So the Chaikin Money Flow is calculated in 3 steps. The first one is called the money flow multiplier and follows the formula below. If the stock went up during the day, the money flow multiplier will be positive, and if the stock went down during the day, the money flow multiplier will be negative. And the money flow multiplier will range between -1 and 1. If you actually take the time to break down this formula to understand how it works, you'd realize that it's actually quite brilliant. Moving on to step number 2 is to take the money flow multiplier and multiply it by the volume for the period. You do this on a daily basis in order to get the money flow volume for 21 days. Why 21? Because it represents the amount of trading days over the span of a month. Then you do the average of those 21 daily money flow numbers and then divide that by the average of the daily volume. I know this can sound very confusing, so just to summarize, the purpose of doing the step number 1, which is the money flow multiplier, is to find the direction and the strength of that direction, pertaining to the high, the low, and the close. The second step is to multiply it by the volume, which tells us the amount of shares that traded hands during that period. And then the last step after that is to do the 21-day average of the daily money flow. Take that number and then divide it by the average daily volume during those 21 days. So enough about the calculations, let's talk about how we can use this indicator in technical analysis. The CMF can be used in a variety of ways, and one of the most common techniques is to look for divergences between the CMF and the price movement. If the price is making higher highs while the CMF is making lower highs, that would suggest that the buying pressure is weakening and that the uptrend may not continue. Now, conversely, if the price is making lower lows while the CMF is making higher lows, that would suggest that the selling pressure is starting to weaken and that the downtrend may not continue. If we see buying pressure, what you should expect to see is a positive reading above the 0 line. But on the flip side, if you see a lot of selling pressure, that will push the indicator below 0. If we see the indicator oscillate around the 0 line, this would mean that there's an equal amount of buying and selling pressure. The Chaikin Money Flow indicator can also be used to identify the strength of a trend. So for instance, if we were to see the indicator sustainably stay above 0 during a bullish uptrend, that would indicate to the trader that the trend is in fact strong and is more inclined to last longer. Of course, the more extreme the reading is, whether it be more positive or negative, simply means that there's a stronger amount of volume coming in and that the trend has a lot more strength behind it. Okay, so moving on, the final way that we can interpret the Chaikin Money Flow is to look for crosses when the line crosses the 0 line from either above or below. This could be an indication that the direction in which the volume is being sent into the market is changing from either bullish to bearish or bearish to bullish. A bullish cross would be when the Chaikin Money Flow crosses the 0 line from below, and the opposite would be said for a bearish cross. Of course, the stronger the cross, pushing the CMF line to more of an extreme level, let's say possibly higher than plus or minus 0.5, would indicate that this is a much stronger signal. So to summarize, the Chaikin Money Flow helps you determine where the money is going. It tells you about the strength of a trend by looking for divergences, price extremes, and crosses. You can get insight into the current market sentiment, which will help you make more informed trading decisions. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, if you wouldn't mind just dropping a like for me, that would be very much appreciated. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.